Okay.
Hi, I'm sorry.
Hi. That's all right.
I'm sorry I'm sorry. Had a little bit of perdón por empezar unos minutos tarde. Tuvimos unas dificultades técnicas, pero ya estamos aquí. We're here now, and we're very excited to have Alex join us all the way from Australia. He's going to tell us all about the university, the program.
Also about our joint scholarship arrangement and support services and that. So yeah, I might as well just get started because I know we're running a few minutes late, but thank you everybody for joining this evening. I'm Alex Thompson, Recruitment Manager, Onshore International for RMIT University, a global university of technology, design and enterprise located in the city of Melbourne, a really multicultural, vibrant city and a great place for international students to live and study. But first and foremost, what I might do is first show just a bit of a video that we just recently released of the university, and that'll give you a bit of a flavour of what we're all about as a university, as well as some sites of Melbourne too. Sorry, let me just see if I can get that happening. Apologies. I will try and get this working. Here we go.
You can feel it. That drive to take what you have and launch it to the next level. The shared energy of people who feel the same way. To wrestle the potential out of the world, harness your creativity, give it form, and set off into an adventure of your own making. To hand the world life-changing technology, planet-saving energy solutions, green living innovations,
how are we going to make our
and a means to transform business that will redefine how the world works. So take it, be hands-on, make it real. Because people like you will forge what's next.
So yeah, just a little video about what we're about as a university, and we have a very strong practical focus, and I will talk a little bit more about that in the presentation. But really, first and foremost, alongside choosing a university, choosing a city where to live, studying overseas is a really important decision to make. And I've really wanted to cover what makes Melbourne such a great place to live for international students. And really, it is a really amazing city to live, and it's one of the most livable cities in the world. It was ranked the most livable city in the world for about 7 years running, and then now it still factors within the top 10 as well. So good healthcare, really efficient public transport, all those type of things, and that's a really a big reason why many international students come to Melbourne. It's also currently ranked the third best student city in the world, and it's been in that top 10 for already a number of years running. It's also known as the sporting capital of Australia. So if you really love your sport, you're going to love living here. There's many high-profile international sporting events that come to Melbourne. For example, some examples being the Australian Open Tennis, which happens in January every year, and that's one of the 4 Grand Slam tennis tournaments. We also have the Formula One Grand Prix, and as well, for people that love their surfing, we also have the Rip Curl Pro at Bells Beach, which is on the famous Great Ocean Road too. So they're just some examples, but there's also lots of different football, rugby, and lots of others as well. We're a vibrant, welcoming and multicultural city, and it is one of the great international cities of the world. We have people from over 200 countries living here, and that's probably why we're also having those different cultural influences here. We are also literally the capital of Australia for food and dining too. So we're ranked number 6 best city in the world for food and dining. And so if you love your food, your coffee as well, you're going to feel right at home here too. being such highly ranked for food and dining, we have many different cuisines on all types of budget as well. So cheap eats to fine dining, we have it all. If you also love your live music, you're going to feel very home here as well. We have more live music venues per capita than any other city in the world. So lots of different places to go to concerts, bars, and see some really great acts as well. In terms of what the cost of living looks like. So in terms of, and really this slide's really covering in relation to the amounts per week. So with rent, we've broken it down in relation to our 3 campuses that we have here in Melbourne. I'll talk a little bit more about the campuses a bit later on. But in terms of our city campus, with its name being right in the city centre of Melbourne, you're going to be paying roughly between $200 to $300 per week. Our Brunswick campus, about 5 kilometres from the city centre, a little bit cheaper. You'll pay between $150 to $250 per week in shared accommodation. And then with Bundoora being 80 kilometres and on the metropolitan Melbourne fringe, between 120 to 200. In terms of electricity, gas and water, you're paying roughly between $10 to $25 per week in shared bills. Food can range between 80 to 150 per week. And then phone and internet, we actually have some of the cheapest prepaid phone and internet plans in the world. So you can pay roughly between 15 to 30 Australian dollars per week. Public transport can be up to $50, but as I mentioned, we do have a campus in the city centre, so you can offset some of those public transport costs by living in the city if you choose to do that. And then with entertainment, depending on how much you like going out, you can be between 30 to 100 Australian dollars per week as well. So really that's just to give you some ideas of what the costs are per week with living in Melbourne. So a bit about RMIT. So we're actually a relatively young university, being founded in 1992, but we actually do have a long history where we were founded in 1887 as a working man's college. So back from 1887, we were teaching men trades such as electricity, plumbing, and construction. And really that was to assist with developing Melbourne's local economy. So you can say with us being a university that's really focused on practical learning and giving our students the skills to be effective in their career path, we've had that in our DNA since the late 1800s. Over a number of decades, we amalgamated with a number of different technical institutes to become the fully fledged university that we are today. We're also Australia's largest tertiary institution by student population, and we have roughly about 85,000 students studying with us across our 3 campuses in Australia and 2 in Vietnam. We also do some offshore teaching as well, where we teach mainly in Southeast Asia, China, and the subcontinent. We're also strongly connected worldwide, where we have over 450,000 alumni worldwide, and we also work with over 200 university partners around the world, whether that be in student exchange, whether that be in research. We work with lots of different universities across all the continents. Really, this is just to call out some of our rankings that we have. Being a very practical focused university where we give students the skills that they need to be successful after graduation and in their career path, we're currently ranked the #1 graduate, the #1 university in Australia for graduate employment rate. So we do have that very strong record of getting our graduates into work. Alongside that, we being that practical university and very industry focused, we're also ranked #4 in Australia for our partnerships with employers. We work with some of the biggest multinational corporations in the world, and I'll showcase some of those industry partners a little bit later on. We're also very strongly focused on the student experience, and we want to ensure that our students get the best experience they have here living in Melbourne and studying at RMIT. We're currently ranked 3rd in Victoria for the student experience. Given that we are a very young university, we're ranked 18th in the world out of all universities under 50 years old. But in addition to that, we're also currently ranked in the top 1% global universities globally, and we're ranked 193 in the QS University World Rankings as well. This video just will cover a bit more about those, bit more about our rankings, as well as discipline-specific ones where we sit within the top 100 to top 150 of some disciplines. So yeah, that was just a little bit more about covering our subject rankings as well. And as you saw, that we're really strongly ranked, especially around art, design, architecture, as well as media and communication studies. And then also top 100 for things such as accounting and those type of things as well. One that wasn't mentioned in there as well is we're also ranked in the top 11 fashion schools in the world. So another another discipline that we're really strongly renowned for. Okay, so just a little bit to talk more about our campuses. As I mentioned before, we have 3 situated in the metropolitan region of Melbourne. So our City, Bundoora and Brunswick campuses, but also we have 2 flight training centres located in Point Cook and the regional city in Bendigo as well. So just beginning with the city campus. So as its name, it's located right in the city centre of Melbourne. And we're actually 1 out of 2 universities to have that central location. Being in the city, very easily accessible by public transport, wherever a student chooses to live. Students can arrive by campus by train, tram or bus. So lots of different options to get there. Lots of being in the city centre, it's not your traditional campus. So think of a campus that's normally on the outskirts of the city and surrounded by walls. This is very much integrated with the city itself and part of the fabric of the city centre. Given that it's in the city, it's actually open to the public, and students and the public are able to walk down through our sort of main street. We have lots of innovative brand new facilities and study spaces, such as the Swanson Academic Building, which is that image right there, and that houses our business programs. We also have our multi-million-dollar design hub, as well as our advanced manufacturing precinct, which is the largest facility of its kind in Australia, which is related to 3D printing across multiple disciplines in terms of like engineering, advanced materials and mechatronics and that. Also, how we're so strongly focused on the student experience. There's lots of chill out zones, cafes, retail pop-ups, study portals, rooftop terraces, and being a university that's very sustainably focused as well. There's lots of garden spaces as well for students to hang out too. Our Bundoora campus, that is home to our health, medical science and education programs, as well as a 3rd and 4th year undergraduate and some postgraduate engineering courses and research facilities there too. It's located 18 kilometers from the city centre. So it's your more traditional campus, and being out in the metropolitan fringe, it's surrounded by parkland, lakes and wildlife. In things relating to the student experience, there's lots of different sporting facilities there for football, athletics, tennis, netball, and more. And there's multi-million-dollar state-of-the-art health science teaching clinics that are related to biosciences, nursing, medical radiations, and osteopathy and chiropractic too. It's our only campus where we have on-campus accommodation. However, that's run through a private provider called Unilodge. So there is accommodation options there for students that may choose a program that's situated out of Bundoora. Our Brunswick campus, and this is our smallest campus. We have about 3,000 students studying on here, and that's home to our fashion and textiles, graphic design, and industrial design programs. It's small, purpose-built, and it's located in the multicultural and vibrant neighborhood of Brunswick. It's a really cool area to live in, and I would definitely encourage you to choose that as an option to live if you choose to come to Melbourne. Lots of different creative studios, workshops, and showcase spaces in our multi-million-dollar fashion hub there, which also has state-of-the-art facilities for fashion design and sustainability and entrepreneurship. Brunswick's actually located 5 kilometers from the city centre, so it's still very easily accessible by train and tram. Point Cook and Bendigo flight training facilities are there for students who are wanting to pursue their private and commercial pilot licenses. So Point Cook flight training facility, so that's located within the oldest operating Air Force base in the world, known as the Williams RAF base. So our students studying there have exclusive use to RMIT fleet of modern flight training aircraft, and they're secure and safe, and they have access to secure and safe training environments as well. They have also access to various controlled airspaces within the area, and Point Cook's actually located about 30 minutes from Melbourne's central business district. You can actually get there by public transport as well. Bendigo training facility. So that's located in the regional city of Bendigo, which is about 160 kilometers from Melbourne's city centre, and the airfield's about 6 kilometers from Bendigo's city centre. At that training facility, students have access to newly acquired Cessna 172s with glass cockpits and brand new runways. They also use training routes that include both regional and rural airstrips in the regional northwestern area of Victoria. So Swan Hill, Mildura, Shepparton, and Horsham, and as well as regional New South Wales too. And this slide's really calling out, if you want to get a bit of a feel of what the campuses look like, we do actually have some virtual campus tour videos on our YouTube handle. So we have current students leading viewers around the campus and all its different facilities. Especially with the city campus, we do actually have one of our students taking you also showing some of the sites in Melbourne as well. So I'd strongly encourage you to take a look at those videos to get a bit more of a feel about what the campuses are like. RMIT is a very comprehensive university. We're also known as what is a dual sector university, meaning that we offer English for academic purposes, foundation studies, as well as vocational programs such as certificate 4s all the way up to advanced diplomas. And then from undergraduate, such as associate degrees and bachelors, and then we teach all the way up from masters by coursework up to PhDs as well. We offer over 450 internationally recognized programs which cover art, architecture, biomedical sciences, business communication, community services. So for what sits under community services are things such as translation and interpreting, social work, and international and global studies. We also offer design, information technology, and we offer a really comprehensive spread of IT and computer science programs. So IT and computer science is standalone programs, as well as niche programs such as artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, data science, and software engineering as well. Education, we have a strong focus on early childhood, primary, and secondary education. And then with engineering, we actually have one of the largest suite of engineering programs within Australia. And then fashion as well. We are one of the top 11 fashion schools in the world, and we are strongly connected with the fashion industry. And with that, students can focus on either fashion design, fashion sustainability, and entrepreneurship, or visual merchandising as well. We also offer game design, health sciences, just crime and legal, and lots of different science programs as well. So the next few slides are really going to encompass about getting on how we get our graduates future ready for a life of work. And how we do that is really around practical industry-based learning. So all our students learn from our teachers and faculty who are experts in their areas, and also they benefit from a curriculum that's designed by industry for industry. So what does that exactly mean? It's that we actually sit down with our industry partners to design curriculums. And how do we do that is by asking them what skills are they looking for in graduates, and we design the curriculums based on the feedback that they provide us. So really, our students are getting a qualification that's relevant, and that's going to give them the skills that they need to be successful in gaining employment with industry. Through our industry connections as well, students are able to, as part of their program and depending on their program structure, do things such as internships, gain industry mentoring, clinical placements, and work experience with some of the world's leading organizations. I'll cover some of them very shortly. And then all of our programs as well have a focus on problem solving, teamwork, communication, adaptability, and interpersonal skills. All those really critical soft skills that you're going to need to be successful in the workplace. We also offer micro-credentials to all our current students that are free, and you're able to do them alongside your program. And really what they focus on is really all those other soft skills, as well as in addition to those skills training ones that we have embedded in our programs. So students, for example, can do things such as cross-cultural communication, working effectively in teams, and other things as well. We also have the RMIT Future Edge program, and that's a hands-on program which students can do alongside their program that they're studying in their own time, which will help them develop practical skills which are valued by employers. For students with entrepreneurial mindsets as well, we do have an activator situated on campus. So they can actually go and do short courses that are based around entrepreneurship skills. And as well as if you have any bright ideas on a startup that you may want to create, you can actually pitch for funding. And if you're successful in getting that, the activator will help you build up that startup up into a certain point, as well as provide that funding to help develop it as well. We do also have the RMIT Job Shop, which is essentially our career center, and you're able to drop in there and speak with Job Shop staff for anything career related on how you can say you're wanting to know more about how you can find work within your career path after graduation, or you want to look at getting a part-time job while you're studying. They're able to help you with that. They also run a number of different workshops across the year on how you can better your interview skills for when you need to go for a job, better your cover letters and resumes, and as well as develop your LinkedIn profiles, as well as others. They also run the RMIT Career Hub, which is an online resource which advertises over 600 positions, which advertise events, volunteer positions, part-time jobs, career consultations, and lots of other resources as well. This video is about one of our recent graduates, Venetia, who actually did an internship with one of our industry partners, Medibank. So Medibank's actually one of the largest providers of health insurance in Australia, as well as one of the largest providers of student overseas health cover as well. So Venetia did a Master of Marketing with us, and then did an internship during her studies, and then actually was successful in gaining a job with them after graduation. So this is one of our success stories here.
Hi, I'm Vinisha, and I just recently graduated from my Master of Marketing from RMIT. What attracted me to study in Australia was because of the cost effectiveness, the university rankings. I also heard a lot of good reviews from students here. During my Medibank internship, I worked with the Overseas Partnerships team, designing communication material for international students like myself. The great thing about doing this internship was I met so many people, got to work on so many projects.
My hope for Venetia has really already come true. She's been successful in securing a permanent position at Medibank in the marketing team, and I'm so proud of her. She's done so well.
RMIT has prepared myself for a career in Australia, and I feel a lot more confident. I've made these industry connections, and I've learned so much from my lecturers and really understood the foundations of it.
So yeah, that was one of our success stories, but there are many more alumni who have gone on to do great things after their studies with us as well. So as I mentioned before, RMIT has strong industry connections, and we have links with some of the world's biggest brands, which cover a vast array of sectors. So this slide's really just calling out some of the companies that we work with. And as you can see, we have global leaders within in the automotive industry, aerospace, telecommunications, information technology, fast-moving consumable goods, as well as banking, transport and logistics, as well as consulting as well, such as the big four like Deloitte, Ernst, EY, and others as well. And really now I want to talk a little bit more about life at RMIT and sort of the things you can take advantage of in terms of the student experience as well. Just to firstly call out just some important dates for 2023. So our first semester commences in at the end of February, but we do have our orientation that you can attend prior to your classes begin from the 20th to the 24th of February. We do also have a mid-semester break. So that roughly goes for about 10 days there. And then also from the 5th to the 23rd of June, there will be the assessment period. And then there will be a semester break, which is roughly about a couple of weeks there. In the second semester, so that'll begin in mid-July. We do have a mid-year orientation for students that commence from the July intakes. And you can do the mid-year orientation from the 10th to the 14th of July. We do also have a mid-semester break from the 28th of August to 3rd of September. And then from 23rd of October to the 10th of November, that is when you do your assessment periods. And then from the 13th of November to late February, you will get a big long semester break. So you do have that opportunity to go home if you wish to, or you can continue just to work part-time while you wait for the 2024 semesters to begin. So RMIT has lots of different support services for international students. Because we want to ensure that they succeed in university, and we want to ensure that they have the best experience while they're living and studying in Melbourne as well. So we do have staff that are able to assist you with advice around accommodation, as well as career advice, which I explained with the job shop earlier. We do have an on-campus chaplaincy for students that may want to access those facilities whilst they're on campus. For students that may potentially experience any personal difficulties while they're in Melbourne, we do have counsellors in which you're able to book for a face-to-face or online appointment free of charge. So we do have those services available. We also have support for students who may have disabilities, as well as support staff that can provide advice around financial, legal, and legal advice as well. So lots of different support services there for students. In addition to that, we have also lots of different online academic support for which students are able to access to while they're studying with us. So we have the study support hub in which students are able to get help with their coursework online with one of our learning advisors. And they're able to help with assignment planning and structure, writing and referencing, as well as general study skills, as well as discipline-specific help as well. So, but that, for example, that may be maths, engineering, chemistry, physics, and there's others that they can assist with as well. We also have assignment and exam support through online web chat. So students are able to access referencing tools, past exam papers, and other study resources, as well as preparation tips as well. So lots of different support there. In addition to that, students can also speak with other students through an app known as Vigo, and they are able to provide advice around how to go about bettering their assignments, as well as building academic confidence as well. We also partner with a company called Studiosity, who provide 24/7 study help. So our current students are able to submit their assignments and gain feedback within a few hours, whether that be around the assignment structure, whether that's around referencing. They're able to provide advice around that. So a bit more about student accommodation. As I mentioned before, only one of our campuses have on-campus accommodation, which is run through a private provider. However, with our City and Bundoora campuses, we do work with a number of private companies that offer purpose-built student accommodation facilities that are very close by to campus. So the majority of them are about 5 to 10 minutes walk from campus. However, there are a couple which are literally across the road as well. And within their facilities, they have lots of different options. So you may depending on your budget, you can share a room with another student. You can share an apartment space with up to 3 or 4 students, where you would have your own bedroom and bathroom, but you would share the communal facilities, such as the living room and the kitchen as well. They also have options in terms of, if you want your own space, you're able to rent your own studio apartment as well. So lots of different options depending on what budget you have. If you want to do go another different option, there is also renting and sharing, and we also have a number of websites in Australia where you can access where you can go about looking for the renting and share house accommodations options. So for example, flatmates.com.au or realestate.com.au. There's different websites there which you can go about looking for that. If you're looking for something short term, where, for example, you may want to, get something short term and then look at something long term once you've arrived in Melbourne, there are student hostels and homestay options available as well. So for homestay, you would live with an Australian family and you would nominate how many meals they would prepare for you each day as well. Also, just to call out, with the private student accommodation providers, they do actually offer accommodation scholarships. So you potentially may be able to get some financial assistance in regards to your accommodation through there. In terms of clubs and societies, RMIT has over 160 different clubs and societies for you to join. So lots of different options, and they all range from sporting, recreation, cultural, arts, political. There's lots of different options there. We hold actually during our orientation festival days. So all our clubs and societies will have stalls during our orientation days for students to come and speak with them and learn if they want to join those particular clubs, as well as holding lots of free food and drink for students as well, and competitions and prizes. So given that COVID's not totally gone away, and we're still, and we know at the moment there's still issues with students being able to get visas on time to start their studies. We are still trying to be as flexible where we can with students and study options as well. So for semester 1, 2023, we're still offering online learning for students who aren't able to arrive in time where we can. For some programs, that being able to commence online is not possible because of accreditation and all those type of things. But where we can, we are offering that. So a lot of the programs still have that option to commence online where available. And then once you're able to get your visa, you're able to transition face to face after that. One of the great things about commencing online is being able to attend classes easily from wherever you are, have more control over the time you spend studying, and then being able to connect with other students and form valuable networks before you even get to Australia. So you already have that friendship network before you arrive in Melbourne. And really the next couple of slides are really just touching on the general academic entry requirements for Masters by Coursework programs. I'm really just covering Masters by Coursework in relation to this because our joint scholarship arrangement with FUNED is only specifically to Masters by Coursework programs. So really what they are is generally successful completion of the equivalent of an Australian bachelor degree. Some of those programs may have a GPA requirement. So specifically engineering programs will have a specific engineering GPA requirement, which is a 2.0 out of 4. Many of our art, design, architecture, communication, design, and fashion programs require applicants to also submit either a folio or a pre-selection kit with their application. So a pre-selection kit is normally a document which students will have to address a number of different questions and design tasks as well as part of that, and they would need to submit that with their application. Potentially, you also may be required to attend an interview, whether that's online or in person as well. So you may potentially have to do that. In terms of the English requirements for Masters by Coursework programs, generally we accept the IELTS academic, and international students would need to achieve an overall score of 6.5 and no individual band below 6.0. With a PTE academic, it's an overall score of 58, no individual band less than 50. And then with the TOEFL IBT, a 79 in total with a minimum of 13 in reading, 12 in listening, 18 in speaking, and 21 in writing. Just also very important that some of our programs do have higher English requirements than this. So for example, our nursing, psychology, and education and social work programs, they do have higher IELTS, higher IELTS English requirements for that. So really this is just to go over our joint scholarship arrangement that we have with FUNED. So this joint scholarship aims to provide financial assistance to talented Mexican students who want to pursue a Masters by Coursework program at RMIT University. So for students who are successful in gaining the FUNED loan, we provide additional tuition fee support to the value of a 25% discount of the tuition fees for a Masters by Coursework program for a maximum 2 years. If a student does require some English, we also provide funding for English language studies up to 10 weeks per student for 2 eligible students as well. Alongside that, FUNED provides a credit scholarship covering up to 40% of the total cost of a Masters by Coursework, not to exceed $12,000 as well. So that amount's provided to each prospective student, and that'll be based on FUNED's financial needs evaluation of the student, his or her repayment capability, as well as a personal interview as well. So in terms of being eligible for that joint scholarship, is be a citizen of Mexico, have applied for a Masters by Coursework at RMIT, satisfy the general and specific requirements of the FUNED credit scholarship and have been awarded it, and then meet the academic requirements for entry to RMIT and have been given an unconditional offer of a place in a program, and then commence as a full-time international student at RMIT in Melbourne as well. If you're not successful in getting the FUNED credit scholarship, we do have RMIT funded scholarships available as well. Apologies for the type. There is a typo here, but we in this scholarship that I'm going to talk about now, but we do have an RMIT English language bursary for students from Latin America. And from 2023, we're actually increasing that discount up to 35%. So rather than paying the full fee of 490 Australian dollars per week, Latin American students will pay $318 and 50 cents Australian per week as well. In terms of being eligible for that, if you're successful in getting offer letters to study English, our English for Academic Purposes program, you will automatically receive that discount on your offer letter. For students who want to study either one of our programs in the College of Business or College of Design and Social Context, we also have an academic excellence scholarship for Latin American students, which is a $10,000 Australian dollars one-off payment towards future tuition fees, which are paid in the first semester after the first semester date. And then also for students who apply for our STEM programs, so our engineering, technology, science, and maths programs, we are also offering a $10,000 one-off payment towards your tuition fees paid in the first semester after the first census date as well. I have if you want to look at more details around the eligibility requirements, I do have a link here in the slide, and which I will share with FUNED, and they can share to everyone who's attended the session today. So how can you apply for an RMIT program? So really the step one is finding a program. So all our programs can be found on the RMIT website. And within those program overview pages, you can check the entry requirements for each program. So on the program overview pages, you can view the academic and English language requirements and any other prerequisites. And they can be found under the admissions tab, which is very easy to find. It's located on the sidebar of the program overview, and it'll take you down there to that admissions drop down. Step 3 is collecting the required documents. So the general program documents that are required are a copy of your passport, certified copies of your academic documents, so your academic transcripts and your completion certificates, both in English and Spanish, and then as well as your English proficiency test if you already have that. And then for students who do our art, design, fashion, media and communication and architecture programs, also the selection task, whether that's a portfolio or a pre-selection kit. And then also step 4 being to submit your application. So all our applications for international students are submitted through our admission system known as StudyLink, and I've actually got the link here in the slides, but that'll take you directly there on how you can register and then begin your application process with us as well. If you have any further questions after the session here, I'm more than happy to speak with you. And you're able to speak with me through a number of different ways. So you're able to speak with me by email, as well as I have my phone number here in which you can speak with me through WhatsApp. If you want to organize a consultation session with me as well, I do have an online calendar in which you can book a session with me, and we're able to speak with each other through Microsoft Teams as well. So a big thanks to everybody for attending the session today. I hope you have found that informative and learnt more about how we can assist you with pursuing your career path. And also a big thanks to Sophia from FUNED for organising the session today and giving me the opportunity to speak with you all. So I'm happy to take any questions now. So I might get Sophia to just begin the Q&A session. So big thanks, Sophia.
Okay, thank you, Alex. That was very interesting. It makes me want to go live in Melbourne and apply to RMIT right now. So guys, are there any questions for Alex that you might want to ask right now? Now is the time. ¿Alguien tiene alguna pregunta que quisiera hacer en este momento? Es una buena oportunidad. Aprovechemos que está Alex aquí y que puede contestar todas sus dudas.
There is one on the chat, Sophia, so from Jorge, and he's asking if RMIT is only in Melbourne or also in Sydney. So yeah, so Jorge, we're only based in Melbourne. So yeah, unfortunately, we're not in Sydney. And then Kareem has also just typed, do the translations need to be certified? Yes, they do. So yeah, you can probably one of the easiest ways of getting your documents certified is that we also work with a number of different education agencies in Mexico. And so you're able to access their services if you choose to do so. And they're able to certify those documents for you. You don't have to, but there is that option there. We do actually have a web page which outlines all our education agencies that we work with. So you're able to access their details and get in touch with them.
¿Alguien más?
Another question? Any other questions?
¿Alguna otra duda por ahí?
Oh, Monica's raised her hand.
Yes, thank you. Hi, by the way.
Hi, Monica.
Just a quick question. What if I've fully finished my university, like the equivalent to my bachelor degree, but the title is still like in process?
So could you just explain that a little bit more, Monica, just so I completely understand what you're asking?
Yes. I mean, you were explaining to us that in order to be eligible or to be able to submit our application, we need to fully have finished like the equivalent of a bachelor degree. But that degree or the document that certified it, it takes yeah.
So yeah, so what I'm understanding is that you're just waiting on your academic transcripts and all that. Is that correct? Is that correct?
I mean, yeah, not just the translation, but like the certification itself.
Yeah.
Like
okay. Yeah. So you don't have to wait until you get those documents. You can actually begin that application process, Monica. However, admissions won't get admissions in the school and the relevant school, which will assess your application. They won't until they have those certified documents. They cannot issue either a conditional or a full offer letter to you. But you can begin that application process, and then once you have those documents, then provide them at a later date.
Okay. Yes. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Monica. And then Victoria in the chat as well has, what are the odds to get the RMIT scholarships if you don't get the FUNED financing? So yeah, Victoria, there are only some minimal scholarships. So they are based on academic merit. So they will be competitive. So yeah, really, I'd encourage you just to check the eligibility requirements because there are some academic requirements around it. And then you having to also submit an application form for the scholarship through the web page. Yeah, so it is very competitive. But yeah, I would encourage you just to look at the web page and check out those eligibility requirements. Okay, so Jorge said, I'm living in Sydney and I have a student visa. I am studying English at the moment. Could I apply to study at the university for next year? So yeah, Jorge, if you are thinking about moving to Melbourne, yes, you could apply to study at the university next year. Where are you exactly? Would you be able to let me know which institution you're studying your English?
ILSSC in Sydney.
Okay. Yeah, okay. So Jorge, there we don't actually have that institution approved to meet the English requirements for a bachelor program or that. So you would probably have to, well, there's two options really. You would either have to do like an IELTS test to meet the English language requirement, or you would have to do English for academic purposes with us.
For the moment, is English general.
Okay, so you're doing general English. Yeah, so we don't accept general English to meet the English requirements of our programs. So yeah, the two options would be for either you to do say like an IELTS test and submit that with your application, or you could choose to do English for academic purposes with us to meet that English requirement.
In your university?
Yes. So we do offer that.
Okay, yes, it is better.
Yeah. So, and as I mentioned before, Jorge, we do actually have that English language bursary. So you would get a discount for studying English with us. So,
okay.
Yeah. Thanks, Jorge.
I see that Victoria has her hand off. No sé si quieres preguntar algo más, Victoria.
Well, I think I forgot to get my hand down when I asked my other question, but yeah, I couldn't help but notice that in the application requirements for the actual application for the study program, there's no need to upload a CV or an application letter. I'm guessing that's some of the requirements that would come into play for a scholarship application, maybe.
So, yeah. So which one are you looking at, Victoria?
I'm looking at food technology.
I know. So which scholarship were you exactly looking at?
Yeah, it would be the STEM one.
STEM excellence.
Right.
Okay, just bear with me. Okay, STEM. Let me just double check something for you.
Yeah, I mean, because I might be able to get the FUNED, but I'm not quite certain. Yeah.
Yeah. So just looking here, Victoria. So you need to have achieved an overall 70% average or equivalent in your last completed qualification. And then you have to submit an application for the scholarship here. So the link, like if you click on that link there, it'll bring up the application form. So you'll have to put in your details there. And then you also have to submit either a written statement of approx 300 words or a recorded video of you for between 60 to 90 seconds. And within that, you have to address why you think you deserve the scholarship and why you'd be the perfect ambassador for the university.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much. And also, I got a little bit late to the presentation,
Yep.
so I
Yeah,
have
sure.
said that. But when do the application dates start?
For programs or for programs?
Yeah, for programs.
So yeah, like all you're able to apply for both intakes of 2023 now.
Oh, great.
If you choose to do, if you want to get that process started as soon as possible. Which intake would you look at coming to RMIT?
So you have both spring and autumn? Maybe
Yeah,
I would.
The majority of our programs do have intakes in February and July. So you could either come in late February or mid-July.
Okay, I'd rather come in February, but I'm not sure if it's too late for next year.
No, it's not. So you're able to still apply. What program are you looking to apply for?
Master in Science Food Technology.
Yeah, so that's, I believe they've got Master of Food Science. So
Sorry.
yeah, so there is a February and July intake. So yeah, there's no issues with you being able to begin that application process now.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Yeah. No worries. And then
There
Yvonne,
are two more questions in the chat. Can you give more information about the academic English program at the university offers, please?
yeah, sure. So good question, Yvonne. So we've actually been teaching English for academic purposes for about 50 years, and we're actually one of the first universities to be offering that a long time ago. So we're actually, you know, we've been doing that for a very long time. So we actually teach from elementary level all the way up to the equivalent of what is an IELTS 6.5. So that last level that students would complete to meet that equivalent is known as Advanced Plus. So depending on what your level is, you can start at whichever level. We have intakes every 5 weeks, and each of those levels, which we actually call modules, are about 10 weeks each. So depending on where you start is how many weeks you would do to meet that. Just really important to note, if you, for example, were looking to apply for like say a master's of psychology or something like that, you would not be able to meet the English language requirement through our English for Academic Purposes program, because they do have those higher English language requirements as well. Yeah, and as I said earlier, that we do have scholarships we do have a bursary available for students that are looking that may need to do some English. So we will have a 35% discount. So rather than paying 490 Australian dollars per week, you would be paying $318 per week. So it's quite a big discount. And then just in addition to that, in terms of getting the bursary, as long as you get an offer letter to study English for academic purposes with us, you will automatically get that on your letter, on your offer letter as well. So yeah, not so many hurdles to jump through in order to get that bursary.
And then there's a question about the weather, how the weather is at Melbourne.
That is actually a very good question, not a silly question at all. So Melbourne's got Melbourne's situated in the southeast of Australia. So it's actually got a very temperate climate. So in the summers, we can get some really hot weather. So anything up to 35 degrees Celsius. And then when winter hits, we can actually get quite cold. So and get quite a bit of rain too. So it's actually quite a variable temperament subtropical climate. So yeah, the climate varies. So when you move to Melbourne, I would encourage you to bring closed for summer as well as closed for winter as well. But saying that, Melbourne's got some really great shopping. So if you ever need to pick up some warm weather gear, we've got lots of shops here that you could buy, like, you know, jackets and sweaters and those type of things as well.
Anyone else? ¿Alguien más?
Yeah, Jorge can vouch for Australia. It's a beautiful country, and and we have quite a big Mexican community here now, and lots of people are really enjoying their time living and studying in Australia.
Well, I don't think there are any more questions. ¿Alguien más? Anyone else want to ask something? Okay, well, if not, we will share the presentation with anyone who wants it. Just get in touch with us, and there you can see Alex's contact information, so you can ask him if you have any follow-up questions. Thank you very much, everyone, for being here with us and for listening. And thank you very much, Alex, for your time and your presentation and the love you have for the university and Australia. It just makes me want to go there.
Thanks, Sophia. And thanks so much to you and FUNED for giving me the opportunity to speak with everybody today. Muchas gracias a todos, and I hope to see you at RMIT and in Melbourne very shortly. So have a good evening, guys, and hopefully speak to you soon.
Thank you. Gracias a todos.